compassionate.
We are focused.
We are confident.
We are dependable.
We are resilient.
We are skilled.
We are empathetic.
We are knowledgeable.
We are respectful.
We are here.
For you and your family.
We are close to home. We are
WVU Medicine.
Want to buy your own home but think you can't afford it? What if you got down payment assistance or a discounted interest rate just for being a recent college grad, teacher, nurse, or veteran? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency offers this and more, and our programs are always available for eligible Ohioans, big city, small town, and everywhere in between. Find out if you qualify at myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org. Home ownership, ready when you are.
It's the little moments that have the biggest impact. Every time you mentor a child or donate your time or money, you empower their future. You can help make a difference and be a hero in the eyes of a child, one simple act of encouragement at a time. Positive childhoods lead to promising futures. Help prevent child abuse and neglect in your community. Learn more at octf.ohio.gov.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Check out Toyota's wide range of all-wheel and four-wheel drive vehicles, like the brand new Corolla Cross, with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Or go off-road in a rugged new 4Runner. Visit your Toyota dealer today, or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, reserve yours. Offers end April 4th. Toyota, let's go places.
More live and local programming than anyone else in the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog returns in moments.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I am the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Under mostly cloudy skies with showers to start the day off, temperatures should climb into the upper 60s for daytime highs. We'll fall back to about 37 for the overnight low, with showers scattered in variety. You'll see those scattered showers on and off for your Friday, with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I am the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Hello, welcome.
Do you know what today is?
March 31st.
It'll be like potatoes.
Why is that?
It is National Tater Day.
Would you pass the taters, please?
Not more take me some of these taters home with him.
Go in the kitchen and peel some potatoes.
Baked, boiled, or mashed.
Take out your taters.
Maybe because you got your taters out.
National Tater Day.
It's showtime.
On FM, on AM, online, on demand, and on video. We are where you are. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe is here now.
Temperature actually dropping a little bit. We were at 60, actually like 65 earlier. We walked down to 63. Now it's 61 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. Still 63 here at my home studios in Elm Grove. And also 63 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Poked my nose out the door during the break. It is raining. Just a light drizzle. The deck is wet. The streets are wet. Light drizzle coming down. That's pretty much the way of the day today. Aaron Myler at the Big 7 says rain showers through the morning and early afternoon. Wind gusts are going to be an issue, up to maybe 35, 36, 37 miles an hour, somewhere in that range. Bulk of the showers wrap up by early afternoon, although you could see an isolated shower coming in this evening as well. Yesterday, we hit a high at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport of 79 degrees. That was a record for that day in history. Yesterday, we hit a record high of 79. Today, we're predicting 68. Aaron is predicting 68. We may have hit that already and are working our way down a little bit. As I said, 61 right now. And then tomorrow, a big drop. Tomorrow, we go to 46 degrees for the high with some rain and some snow mixed in the morning. Yikes. Just plain old yikes. Spring has been up and down and all around this year. Where have we been and where are we going today? We're going to be talking in a moment about the GOP primary for the U.S. Senate in Ohio. It's been called by some a political circus as the candidates see who can become the most Trumpian. Nick Evans from the Ohio Capitol Journal are going to offer his perspective on that in just a couple of minutes. A second booster shot for COVID is now available for 50 plus and immunocompromised. Ohio and Marshall County folks, health departments now have those vaccines available, those boosters available. PTT Global is paying back some money to the state of Ohio for failing to move on the Belmont County cracker plant. Is the cracker ever really coming? We're going to talk about that. The new owners of the Fort Steuben Mall, they had it for only 5 weeks, now are saying that they will put them all up for auction next month. They've invested a lot of money into it. They've signed up some new tenants. Now they're going to hopefully find local people to buy it. I've got my concerns about that. We've been talking about it. Coming up in this hour, we'll talk about Governor Justice vetoing that bill to divide the DHHR into 2 agencies. West Virginia Democrats continue lobbying for a state gas holiday, and we'll have continuing updates on the invasion of Ukraine from ABC News. I have all of this coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show. I want to remind you before I forget, tonight is the night for the Ohio County School Board Meet the Candidates Night. It's put on by the Ohio County Education Association. It's Meet the Candidates Night at the Trinity Lutheran Church on Oak Street in South Wheeling. The event is 6 to 8 o'clock this evening. The doors open at 5:30. There'll be some, cookies and soda pop or something there. You can have sort of light refreshments. And the Ohio County Education Association has prepared a variety of questions they will ask each of the candidates. And then they're also going to allow you, if you come down to the event, to write out any question you'd like to ask and give it to them, and they will ask that question on your behalf to the candidates. So I've said before, I think that school boards often get, over the years I have felt, school board elections get short shrift. And I certainly think in recent years, and this year in particular, with a lot of what's happening at the state level, a lot of what's happening in Ohio County, there have been a lot of critical and criticized decisions in the Ohio County system. The cutting of library funding, the emphasis on this new athletic field over other academic issues has got some people concerned. So if you're interested in the school board, I highly encourage you to go to the Meet the Candidates Night tonight at Trinity Lutheran Church, 6 to 8 o'clock. Listen to what they have to say. It's an important election. We will have on this show I've invited all of the candidates. Most have already said yes who are running for school board to be on this show as well to answer some questions. Now, I want to talk about an election going on in Ohio. I've been following this sort of from the sidelines, and this election seems to me to be just absolutely bizarre. You've heard us running some commercials for the various Ohio Senate candidates in the GOP primary, and some of them just make me go, yoy. And the debates that have been going on between the Republican candidates, yikes. At least that's the way I look at it. Nick Evans has been writing for the Ohio Capitol Journal, and he's with us this morning. Nick, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you? Is it too strong for me to say that this GOP primary for the Senate has become a political circus?
I guess it depends on your perspective. I mean, it's not as crazy as I guess it could be. I mean, they didn't actually start swinging when they almost fought at one of the recent debates. So I guess there's still room to get worse. But I will say that there are some aspects of it, in particular, two candidates squaring off during a debate that I don't think that you see. I think it's safe to say you don't see it very typically. And you're right. The bulk of the candidates have certainly made a point of trying to veer as hard into the sort of Trump aesthetic as they possibly can, and in a hope of getting his endorsement.
It seems to me they're trying, and we run some ads for some of these candidates on the station. It seems like they're trying to outdo themselves in running as far to the radical right as they can, as far towards Trump as they can, one of the candidates, and I don't remember who is, they end their ad with "Let's go, Brandon." I mean, is this the winning strategy in Ohio in the GOP primary? I guess maybe it is, huh?
Well, I mean, I think it's too soon to say, right? The primary is coming up very soon. And I think the point that I would clarify a little bit here is it's not just like as hard to the right as they can go. It's specifically as close to Trump as they can go. I mean, like the rhetoric that we're hearing really does often sound like you could have pulled it right out of Donald Trump's mouth. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that there is a candidate, Matt Dolan, who is definitely not running in that way. But he's also not one of the front runners. So it's going to be certainly interesting, and the sort of the influence of the former president really weighs heavily in the Republican side of the race.
He has not endorsed any of the candidates, has he? Or am I wrong about that?
No, he hasn't. And he's sort of been waiting in the wings, like, there's been reporting, especially out of national outlets like Politico, that have talked about him sort of weighing the possibility one way or the other. There was talk about him potentially endorsing Jane Timken early on after she got Rob Portman's endorsement, but he pulled back from that. And so right now, my guess is that at this point in the race, unless somebody really truly separates himself from the pack completely, which seems unlikely. Unless that happens, I don't think he's gonna weigh in, because I mean, it's I guess in such a crowded field, you would think from his perspective it's probably pretty risky. I mean, you don't want to come in and then run the risk of potentially that person not winning, right, and then having a loss tied to you.
And that's an issue that he's been concerned about. He has had some endorsements that have not succeeded, so he needs to be. If he's getting good advice, he wants to be careful a little bit about not endorsing too many folks who are going to end up not winning. It's not good for his image. Yeah. Let me ask you about this. These debates have been interesting. You mentioned one of them. They literally got nose to nose. Didn't go full-fledged Will Smith, but came close. So, sure. I mean, it was nose to nose. This debate, I guess it was this week, where the moderator began by saying, give me your verifiable, factual reasons for believing that the election of 2020 was stolen, that Donald Trump actually won. And not only did they not have that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, not only did they not really respond to that, they basically said, no, we're not going to do that. Don't you dare try to give the facts to us.
Well, most of them went and basically reiterated the sort of either things that have been debunked, right, or the sort of spun out conspiracy theories that really aren't, like, I think are pretty easily shown to be not legitimate. Like, for instance, the idea that Mark Zuckerberg bought boards of elections when he gave them grants to help them run an election when there was a lack of funding, not least of which because the president had decided he was uncomfortable with mail-in balloting. But in terms of pushing back on the fact checking in particular, that came from a guy named Mark Pakita. He's one of the lower rated candidates who had previously not been in these debates. So this was the first one where we had all 7 of the candidates who have qualified. And he was really explicit about, like, at the outset being like, stipulating, don't fact check me. And, his point was, the exact same sort of debunked stuff about, the Hunter Biden laptop. Well, that's not the Biden who was on the ballot, right? So, it is kind of, it was good to see the moderator, Karen Kassler, laying out, like, in very explicit terms, like right after, any false statements were said, like, that's not true. We're going to move on. It wasn't unkind, but, it was definitely firm. So, yeah, there is certainly problems with the truth, I guess, especially when it comes to the 2020 election.
Probably the two best known names are J.D. Vance, who wrote the Hillbilly Elegy, and Josh Mandel, former state treasurer. He's run before for another office. I forget. Did he run for Senate before?
He did.
He's run for something else. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
So
he
they're probably the
pulled
two
out
best
early.
known names. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Are they? Would you consider them the front runners or simply the best known names?
Right now, I would say the best known names. I think that polling in this race has been a little iffy throughout. And the other thing is that as much as polling has gotten beaten up in recent presidential elections, I think you have to add in the factor of you've got 7 people running. It's going to be a really, really hard thing to track. But what we've seen in recent polls, if they are to be believed, is that investment banker Mike Gibbons has a narrow lead. Josh Mandel is right up there with him. But I mean, they're unscientific, right? So take that with a big grain of salt. But if you look at some of the recent debates that have happened in the last week and a half, J.D. Vance and Matt Dolan, who I don't think I've seen any polling where they are listed as the front runner. They have both done quite well in straw polls. In particular, the Right to Life of Greater Toledo did a really interesting thing where they showed, who was the straw poll at the beginning and then the straw poll at the end. And what you saw is that, coming in, Mike Gibbons, the investment banker from Cleveland, who has been listed as the front runner, he did the best at the outset. But then afterward, Matt Dolan and J.D. Vance had picked up a bunch of votes to become either something. If I remember correctly, they were both in the top 3. So it's sort of interesting, if you think that debates matter in this, then J.D. Vance and Matt Dolan, who have sort of on stage shown the most sort of being comfortable and cogent with their message, they seem to do the best. But if you don't think that people are actually watching these, or if you think that they're deciding their vote based on something other than what they see on stage, then I think it's really hard to say.
Generally speaking, as politically involved as I am, and as much as I wish everybody would watch the debates and make informed decisions, debates generally only attract an involved audience. But what I've noticed about this Republican Senate debates are that frequently at the end of a debate, there is an incident or some comments that were made that pull it above just a debate and actually make it into the evening news that catch people's attention. You know what I'm saying? The best example would be the face-to-face with Mandel and
the near fight.
Sorry, what's his name? Yeah,
Mike Gibbons and Josh Mandel. Yeah,
there you go. So sometimes that's the important thing, is the moment becomes, I hate to use the word viral, I won't use that, but it becomes above and beyond just the debate, which then means it reaches into the homes and minds of people that maybe aren't actively involved, don't want to watch a debate, but now they're hearing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's certainly true. But I think also that in particular, the incident where there was nearly a fight, I think that the campaigns are very, very, very cautious about coming anywhere near that again. Because I think it did really, really badly for them. And again, we're talking about an unscientific straw poll here, but after that happened at the debate where they nearly fought, the person who won the debate was the one who not only was not involved, but took a moment in his next response to say, "Hey, that's really terrible what you're doing, Josh Mandel. I don't like how you use the Marine Corps as sort of a political football." And that was J.D. Vance. So both Mandel and Gibbons, the two that were involved in that, they came in the dead last and right behind them. So I think that they've seen that this is, it might, make headlines, but not in a good way. And the idea that any press is good press, I think only stretches so far, right? So they've been really cautious about, trying to kind of rein that in a bit, in terms of just how hard they're going after one another.
One more comment that was made. I want to just get your take on, then I'll let you go. But I think I saw this in your story. I did not catch this during the debate, but apparently Josh Mandel doubled down on calling us a Judeo-Christian nation and saying we ought to be teaching Christian values in schools, right?
Yeah, and this has been one of the things that he has done that's sort of like done the thing you were just speaking about, where he says something that like kind of goes beyond the debate, right? So there was a sort of a wildcat debate early on between Morgan Harper, who is the progressive running in the Democratic field, versus Josh Mandel, who's probably the most conservative in the Republican field, and in that debate, he made the case that there's no separation between church and state in the U.S., based on the idea that that isn't explicitly said in those terms in the Constitution, despite the fact that the idea is well established both in like the First Amendment and through like case law throughout the course of the U.S. history. So during the debate, he was asked directly about that, and he didn't say it in the same terms, but the same position was laid out there. We should be what we're doing here, like the left and liberals, that they're trying to take Christianity out of more things, and we ought to be doubling down on it. We should be putting Christianity and explicitly Christianity, not religion generally. He made a point of saying that the U.S. is not a Muslim nation or an atheist nation. It's a Judeo-Christian nation. He said that we should be incorporating that into more things, like into school, into our businesses, et cetera.
Yeah, I find that dangerous, but then again, that's very antithetical to my personal understanding of our Constitution. And as you point out, case law has been pretty good about this as well. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. And then who are they going to face? The winner faces who in the fall, do you think?
I mean, it's really difficult to say. There's two people that are really, I think pretty legitimate candidates on the Democratic side. Tim Ryan, congressman, who just recently ran for president, and Morgan Harper, a woman who used to be with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and has previously run for Congress, but she was unsuccessful. Really impressive woman, but in terms of running in Congress in Columbus, where she's from, much smaller, sort of field to run in, she went against Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and frankly, she lost by a 2-to-1 margin. She's been, active in the community since, and trying to, build herself up, but it's going to be quite a feat for her to run statewide against somebody with, limited but existing name recognition at the national level. So it's going to be probably Tim Ryan. One would assume, but you never know.
It's politics. It's politics in 2022, so you certainly never know. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, I know you got places to go. I appreciate your time. I enjoy reading what you write at the Ohio Capitol Journal. Always encourage people to check it out. It's really, I think, a great repository for good information and commentary on the stuff that's going on, the deep stuff that's going on in Ohio. So I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, anytime. Right. Hope you have a good one.
All right. Thanks a lot. You too. Nick Evans from the Ohio Capitol Journal with us here this morning. I encourage you all the time, if you want to follow sort of the deep stuff in Ohio, the Ohio Capitol Journal is a great place to get. You get a lot of good, sort of the daily news. Susan Tebben, who's been with us on several occasions, is covering this redistricting thing in Ohio on a daily basis. She really digs in deep and gives you the info. And Nick and some other folks offer some commentary. I'm a big fan of Ohio Capitol Journal, as I am of its sort of partner website in West Virginia, which is Mountain State Spotlight. They do the same kind of things where they really delve into some of the important stuff. All right, 9:30. By the way, Biff, every time we talk about Josh Mandel, I can't help but think of our old friend Ellen Ratner.
Yes.
Because you remember Josh Mandel, this absolutely, in my mind, Looney Tune, right-wing Trumpian Republican, was Ellen Ratner, the looniest liberal that I ever knew. He was her cousin. She always referred to him as Cousin Josh. Cousin Josh asked her for a campaign contribution once, and she kind of laughed in his face. So whenever I think of Josh Mandel, I think back to Ellen Bragner and Cousin Josh that she just couldn't stand. All right, 9:31:29 to the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Let's check some Ohio Valley headlines from our friends over at Metro News, and we'll get into Billy DeFabio's sports report. A few odds and ends I want to get to before Mr. Westfall, hopefully, comes by this morning and shares with us a few stories they're working on over the Big Seven. And I'm going to join Hoppy today, by the way. I don't know what we're talking about, but I will be on Statewide Talk Line later on this morning. I don't know, but we'll be talking about something, so you can catch more of me today at around 10:45. Right now, you can catch the news right here.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carrie Hudasek. High winds and low humidity fueling forest fires all across the state overnight. One happening in Putnam County. Tays Valley Fire Department Chief John Smoot explains what happened.
We had a rapidly moving brush fire near the intersection of Fletcher Road and Scott Depot Road.
Authorities believe the fire was likely caused by someone throwing a lit cigarette out of a car. A plea deal may be in the works for a former Morgantown sandwich shop owner charged in the January 6th U.S. Capitol riots. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhaney says attorneys for George Tanios and his alleged accomplice Julian Cotter are giving reasons why a plea bargain would be better than a June trial.
Some of the charges would be dropped in exchange for Cotter and Tanios pleading guilty to others. The pitch that they are making is this would save the government time and money as well as the emotional cost.
The two are accused of assaulting a Capitol police officer with pepper spray. Governor Jim Justice has reopened the search for a third and final judge for the state's new Intermediate Court of Appeals. One of his original appointees, Don Nickerson of Wheeling, withdrew his name last week. The State Judicial Vacancy Commission will take applications through April 15th. Retired members of the military will be honored with an event this weekend in Putnam County. The West Virginia National Guard says they'll host a Military Retiree Appreciation Day this Saturday. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Kanawha County Senator Richard Lindsay says the state shouldn't waste any time to help West Virginians paying more than $4 a gallon at the gas pump.
People are hurting right now. They're looking at $4 a gallon right now. And if you were to do a suspension of the gas tax or you were to do a rebate, they would save, on average, people would save around $50, $60 a month.
Democratic lawmakers held a news conference Wednesday to continue their push for a gas tax holiday. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins are back in action tonight when they visit the Minnesota Wild at home. Minnesota with a pretty good record of 24-7-1. The Penguins overall on the road, and remember, they're one of the better road teams in the National Hockey League, 21-8-5. The Wild 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. The Penguins in their last 10 games, 6-3-1. Another hockey note, the Wheeling Nailers lost on the road to Fort Wayne by the score of 4-1. Well, former Pittsburgh Steelers assistant coach Bruce Arians, no longer the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is defensive coordinator for a number of years. Todd Boyles will now be the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, Arians will move into the Tampa Bay front office. Well, recently the NFL owners have voted to give both teams a possession in overtime. This is Steelers team president Art Rooney.
We had multiple people with different ideas, and so we had to kind of sort through all of those, and the competition committee, I think, did a good job.
Despite losing to Costa Rica 2-0, the United States men's soccer team qualifies for the World Cup. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
This is Bill DeFabio. Join me for the variety show on The Watchdog.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design and easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Hey man, what can I get you?
Yeah, can I have 2 Coors Lights?
You got it. Hey Mike! I need 2 Coors Lights!
Sure thing. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go.
Thanks, Mike. Doing a great job. All right, 2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Hey, they don't call it the world's most refreshing beer for nothing.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you really have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Washington County's largest gun show is back. Buy, sell, trade, Saturday and Sunday, April 9th and 10th from 9 to 4 p.m. at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Admission $8, children 12 and under free. All are welcome. Free appraisals, all types of firearms, modern, military, and antique. Cash buyers on site for your used guns.
Mountaineer Baseball lives here.
Swung on, cracked, in the air, deep left field. Goodbye, home run.
Tune in to Dan Zangrilli and Ernie Galuski all season long.
Wild and wonderful, the West Virginia Mountaineers have defeated college baseball's #2 team.
On your home for Mountaineer Baseball, MSN, the Mountaineer Sports Network.
Follow us on Facebook for the latest news, show updates, podcasts, alerts, and live video streams from the Valley's only network dedicated to local, community-driven talk radio, The Watchdog.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
It's 9:40, 22 of the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. 63 at the air, no, 61. We've dropped down. 61 at the airport, about 63 still here at the home studios in Elm Grove and at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Going to be 60-ish, I guess, during the day today. Officially calling it 68, but we may have hit that, I'm guessing, and we're starting to work our way down a little bit. It's raining outside, going to rain most of the day, so be aware of that. Coming up 10:06 today, Hoppy Kercheval. As I mentioned, among other things, among other guests, me. I'll be on with Hoppy today. He and I are going to be talking about Slapgate. Will Smith. Never heard it called Slapgate. That's Hoppy's. Okay, that's all right. Slapgate. We're going to talk about this.
That's the new thing we do now. We just put gate at the end of everything. I mean, we've had.
It doesn't make any difference what the issue is. Just call it a gate. You know. I think
Gate.
people forget Watergate was actually the name of a hotel. It was called, the hotel's name was Watergate. That's why it was called the Watergate scandal, because it happened at the Watergate.
Deflate Gate.
And ever since then, since the 70s, we've been putting gate at the end of any scandal.
Yeah, I mean, New England Patriots, Deflate Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now we've got
Deflate Gate, that's right.
Yeah, now we've got Slap Gate. I mean, just put gate at the end of it and away you go.
and then it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Slapgate coming up with Hoppy. And as I mentioned earlier, I think I may be the only state issue he's talking about, because he's got a lot of other stuff coming up, talking about marijuana in the workplace and opioid addiction and new businesses coming to the state. So should be a good statewide talk line today, but it'll be particularly good because I will be there. All right. Let's talk about some of the statewide stories happening here in West Virginia. All right, these are some of the stories coming out of the Capitol and around the Great Mountain State. Governor Justice has vetoed one of the big bills that was passed by the legislature. That is the bill that would split the Department of Health and Human Resources into two departments. The DHHR is the largest department in the entire state government. It really does have, I see the value in cutting it in half because it has two distinct areas. There's the health area, there's the human services area, and it encompasses both of those. So the legislature felt that by splitting it apart into two separate entities, it would make it more efficient. I don't disagree with that, although I think the timing, this is my opinion, timing on the implementation of that bill was pretty quick. Nonetheless, Governor Justice yesterday announced that he has vetoed that bill. He said, we want to address and correct the real problems in DHHR, but before we undertake such a drastic change to an enormous agency, I believe we need to take a deeper look at every aspect of how this would work. It's hard for me to believe I'm going to say these next words, Biff, but I think Jim Justice is right. Don't agree all that often, but I think he's right. That this is a huge decision, and how it's going to be played out, how it's going to be implemented, needs to be thought through. So the governor vetoed that bill. No indication, at least I don't see any here, that he's going to put it back before the legislature in the special session that he's calling. Again, I think he's wise in suggesting this requires probably more in-depth study before being officially passed. But I haven't heard any response yet from the lawmakers as well. But the governor's been using his veto pen a good bit this session. Let's see, he vetoed a bill meant to give magistrates more latitude in certain instances, and also he vetoed House Bill 2300 that would have included family court judges in the judges' retirement system. I'm not totally sure why, but nonetheless, he would have done that. And he vetoed, I'm looking over these notes here, he vetoed House Bill 4001 that focused on broadband. I thought we all were in agreement on broadband. But the governor says the bill contains fatal flaws. So we'll have to see. So the governor's got his veto pen out and is slashing away. Meanwhile, legislative Democrats are continuing their push for some kind of a break for all of us in gasoline prices. The first suggestion of the Democratic caucus was that the governor suspend the gas tax for a period of time, a month or 2 months. Just suspend it. We just will not collect the gas tax for a period of time, which would then lower the price of gas for us at the pump. And it has been done in other states. I think Maryland is among them. Some other states have done that, suspending the gas tax. The governor says he doesn't have the power to do that. I don't know why he says that. He's got the power to do everything else under his executive powers. Governor says he doesn't have the power to do that, but he'd call a special session for the legislature to consider it if that's what the Democrats wanted. The Republican leadership has said that they feel that it's not the best use of the budget surplus that we have, that it's not the best way to achieve a relief for the citizens of West Virginia. They point out their concern, Republicans point out their concern that some of this money is required to go, gas tax money, required to go for road funding, and if it's gone, then got to replace it with something. Again, I think those are issues you can resolve. We've got $1 billion surplus Let's move some of that money around, and if we have to, we have to. I have some concern. Well, let me finish the story first of all, then offer some opinions. With those concerns raised by the governor and concerns raised by the Republican leadership, the Democrats have now begun to switch gears a little bit, and now they're talking about, instead of a suspension of the gas tax, a $100 rebate check on your tax bill. You'd get a $100 rebate check, basically a rebate on taxes, for all registered drivers in the state. I feel like they're really clutching at straws here. When Richard Lindsay, one of the Democrats proposing this, was asked by Hoppy yesterday, well, how would it work? It was like, well, we're not sure how it would work. Probably, maybe somehow you'd get it back in your taxes, or it doesn't seem like a fully thought out idea. Hoppy and I will talk about this today on Statewide Talk Line, so I'm not going to share all my thoughts here. Stick around for about an hour, and I'll share them all on Statewide Talk Line with the statewide audience. But a couple of things to keep in mind, in my opinion. First of all, gas prices are going down. Over in Ohio yesterday, prices were 10 cents lower at one station than they had been the day before. Every station I've looked at has seen prices go down. Now, by pennies, but prices are going down. One station I had seen just 2 days ago at $3.99, it was $3.79 yesterday. So that's the first thing, is maybe the gas price increases are beginning to reverse themselves. So maybe it's not as big a deal. Still a big deal, but not as big a deal. Secondly, the gas tax suspension will put money in some people's pockets, but not that much money. And is it really maybe not, is it more trouble than it's worth? I don't know. You know, I have to be very careful. To me, paying the extra for gas, I don't like to do it, but I can do it. I can still pay the gas, buy my gas and have no problem. I do know there are people who can't. I know there are people who, when they have to pay more for gas, are looking to see if they can afford to go to lunch. I get it. So I've got some mixed feelings about this, even though it is my own Democrat Party that's proposing it. But I'm thinking it's a little bit, I don't know what the word I want to use is. I think they're clutching at straws a little bit. Hoppy and I will talk about that coming up in the next hour of the show. And finally, just a quick note about this one. Y'all may remember our friend Stephen Adams introduced us to a story, what's it been, about a year ago? Well, around Christmas time, I guess. It was a story called Santa Gate. Do you remember? There's the gate again, Biff, by the way.
Yeah, see?
There's the gate
there
again.
you go.
Do you remember Santa Gate down in Pleasant County? This was where the prosecutor's office, it began with something akin to some things they're doing in Wheeling with parking tickets. It began with, bring in a can of food and we'll write off your parking tickets, basically. And then apparently the prosecutor's office increased it to, if you make a cash contribution to a toy campaign for kids, we'll write off tickets. But then they began writing off more than just parking tickets. They began writing off other kinds of tickets. Stephen Adams has been kind of following this, and he began by calling it Santa Gate, and it was kind of a little half chuckle, half serious story. But it has grown. There is now an ongoing federal criminal investigation into Santa Gate, and the Pleasant County prosecutor, Brian Carr, is being investigated and could be losing his law license because he dismissed misdemeanors in exchange for cash donations. It's an idea that started with a good idea, and then sort of grew, and I don't think, at least from what I know, I don't think there's any ill intent. I think they were trying to do a good job, something nice for kids and for these programs. But there's something not quite right, Biff. But hey, if I pay you some cash, will you get rid of my ticket? And it's a little iffy, I remember the very first time I got a speeding ticket. I was a kid. I was 16. I just had my license. I was going Biff, you may not believe this. I was going to a bowling tournament down in Parkersburg with some friends. Why do you laugh, Biff? You trying to picture me bowling?
Yes.
So I was going to a bowling tournament with some friends, and we were going down to Parkersburg, and I was speeding. I mean, I was a novice driver. I wasn't watching speed. We're on 79. Shoo! That's me. I'm going. Guy stops. I've never gotten a ticket in my life. So state trooper stops me, tells me, what the deal is. I'm writing you a ticket. The fine is going to be whatever it's going to be. And I said right there, I reached in my pocket and I said, do you just want me to give you some money now?
Oh, jeez.
I didn't know. This guy, state trooper, says, are you trying to bribe me? No, sir. I'm not trying to bribe you. I don't know what to do. He said, just when you get the ticket, send your money in. But I reached in my pocket, pulled it out. I said, do you want me to pay you? Are you trying to bribe me? That's how dumb I am. Cash for tickets is not a good thing. So Steven's got a story about this in the Intel today if you want to read it. All right, 8 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We still waiting for, I heard a ding. Is that Bob by any chance? Are we hearing from Bob yet?
Actually, that's not my ding, but Bob is on hold.
Okay, I don't know. Well, I heard a ding.
Good timing.
Here, but anyway.
Good timing.
It is good timing. Let's get to Bob Westfall from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Good morning, Bob.
Did you just call me a ding?
No. It's just I heard a ding, like I got a text message or something, but I didn't see it, and that's usually when Biff is telling me you're on the phone line. But apparently it wasn't. I did not call you a ding. No.
Okay. All right. Because
I would never do that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of not nice.
Right. Well, I always try to be nice to you.
I know you're always nice.
I am. I try to be as nice as I can to almost everybody. There are a few folks that it's just not going to work with.
Yeah.
There are a few folks it's just plain not going to work with.
Yeah, been there, done that.
But you're okay. You're an okay guy. I can be kind with you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
What do you got today? Something exciting? What are you working on?
All right, a few things we're working on today. We're going to talk to Reverend Bill Webster in Belmont County. They're making plans to once things are in place to accept Ukrainian refugees. So we're going to find out what their plans are and what they're hoping to accomplish. We've talked about this before.
I think Bill has a relative who's in the Ukraine.
Oh, really?
I think.
I did not know that. So anyway, yeah, they're reaching out. They're working. Governor DeWine said last week, actually in the State of the State, the state would accept Ukrainian refugees. President Biden said 100,000. I'm sure that number will increase. So we're going to talk to Reverend Webster about what the plans are in Belmont County to see if they can't house a few of these refugees as the war in their country continues. So I really like that story. So DK is going to check that out today. Our first Golden Apple Award winner is today. Stephanie Grimley's got that story. That'll be on our 5. I am not going to spoil who the winner is. This is Sherry. She's going to start. This is teachers across the region who deserve a little extra acknowledgement of the work they do. Because I know that's a tough job. I had a cousin that taught in Harrison Hills for 35 years, and yeah, that's a tough job. So
it has always been a tough job, and it's tougher these days than it ever used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have our first one today, Golden Apple winner. So I'm excited about that. That'll air today at 5.
Cool.
The story, other story DK is working on today is April is Alcohol Awareness Month. So we're going to talk to our friends down in Northport when it comes to the addiction of alcohol. If you have it, what you need to know, where you can get help, and if you're a family member or a friend of someone that is having problems, what you can do to help them to get the help they seek. So, and that kind of ties in with Aaliyah's other story is West Virginia is the 4th most stressed state in the country, dealing with the pandemic and everything like that. A recent survey came in saying that West Virginia ranks 4th as the most stressed state in the union. So, excuse me, we're going to talk to Dr. McFadden over at Wheeling Hospital today about what those stresses are and what you can do to fight and maybe deal with it maybe a little bit better. So we've got that.
We're a poor state. We're an unhealthy state. So many things that happen in this state that it's easy to see why stress is very big among our population.
Right. So it's we're going to find out maybe what the stresses we're seeing and how we should better deal with them, I guess. So we're going to do that. Story we're working on too out of Pittsburgh. Video was released of that dash cam video of that Uber driver that was killed. Was released in court yesterday, and I've been doing this since I was 22, 23, and this video is very disturbing. So I'm going to follow up on that one as well. So dealing with a little bit of rain. I guess we've got the S word in the forecast coming up this weekend. So Aaron and Zach will be following that. So we've got that, and sports continues. High school baseball, high school softball, cross country, and track. Everything going on right now, even with the weather. So a little bit of everything. I can remember I played high school baseball for Buckeye North. I can remember playing a game up in Stanton, and they had to take a broom to the foul lines to brush the snow off, so we could play the game. I'll remember that forever. So I feel for these kids out there playing in this weather, but it goes on. So we'll see. Scotty and Chip will have all that. A little bit of everything today.
Sounds good. Lots of good stuff coming up today. A couple of those things. Listen, I want to watch the story about stress because I want to find out how can I reduce my stress.
Yeah.
Do I have to do or something? Is that?
Yeah, that's one of.
Or what do they do, Biff? What do they do on Seinfeld? Serenity now. Serenity now. Maybe that's it.
See, I'm not a Seinfeld fan. I hate to say that publicly, but I can take it or leave it. Also going to talk to Senator Brown, Senator Capito on Judge Jackson and where they stand. Capito has not come out and said yet, I don't believe. So we're going to see if she can make an announcement. And I know Sherrod Brown has already said that he completely supports Judge Jackson, nominee for the Supreme Court. So we're going to see where that stands.
Yeah, so Capito's vote could be interesting. Shelley Moore Capito can be surprising. She's very much down the Republican line, but she's also very willing to be a little more flexible on certain issues. So we'll have to see how that whole thing plays out. Bob, we'll look for things today at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show. Always at WTRF.com, the double award-winning website. And most importantly, carry you in our pocket with Storm Tracker 7 and the News app. Best way to find out news of the day. We will talk to you tomorrow to wrap up the week. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Biffy, all things considered, I guess I shall return tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, on the Go Around the Big Gig. Our travel show is back now, so Bill Bryson will be with us among other guests tomorrow. You back with me tomorrow?
Back to close out the week.
We'll keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
Troops would be pulling back.
All right, Biffy. Well, we got by without Howard Gimbel anyways. He does forget sometimes. Sometimes he just forgets. Sometimes he gets caught up in other things. But when I texted him yesterday, he responded immediately. Right away. He said, "Oh yeah, 8:15 is fine." But no action. That's all right. We got through. We made it work. Nick Evans was pretty good. I've never talked to him before. He was pretty good. Yeah. These Ohio Capital Journal people are better than I should say better than I expected, but they're really good. So I'm going to keep on using them. It gives us a way to talk a little bit about Ohio as well, because I spend so much in West Virginia that it's good to talk about the other side of the river. We have a lot of audience over there and hate to ignore them. So those guys are good resources to have. We got a full day tomorrow. Mike Pushkin, West Virginia delegate at 8:15. Travel show at 8:30. And, of course, McCabe at 9 o'clock. So we've got a busy day tomorrow, which is good. All right, everything else okay? No problems that you are aware of or need to complain about? All right, well, it's only 10:01, but hopefully things will stay that way. How's Bill when you talk to him? Is he sounding pretty good? Is he coming back in, as he said? Is he back in every day? Is that his game plan, or is he going to... It was kind of the impression I got. I heard him sign off, and I kind of got the impression it's like, I didn't get the impression he was saying, I'll be back every day again. So I thought maybe he was just experimenting. We'll see. I've been really busy this week, so I haven't had a chance to talk to Kayleen very much. I'll see what's going on with Bill. All right, well, if you need me, I will be around after I'm done with Hoppy at 10:45. I think I'll just be here all day. Have some things to do. Nancy's got a doctor's appointment, and that means I get to be alone. I can take a nice quiet nap with nobody bothering me. That's right. So, but if you need something, give me a call. I'm always around. Otherwise, as always, I'll just talk to you in the morning. Thanks for your help. Appreciate it. All right, bye.
Answer from Navy officials about what happened. Mullins, speaking to ABC's Amy Robach, says she spoke to her son Kyle just before he died, and she says he didn't sound quite right.
I'm told that the medical team was let go at 12 noon, and someone was on call, and they didn't answer.
Have you gotten any real explanation from any official about what happened to Kyle?
No, I don't have any autopsy results. They're investigating it. And they say, that's all they say.
You've got to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
The Navy says it is still investigating. A sad end to the search for a Nevada 18-year-old.
Kidnapped over 2 weeks ago, investigators say the body of 18-year-old Naomi Irion has been found in a gravesite in Churchill County, Nevada, east of Reno. The remains have been confirmed to be those of Naomi Irion. Her family has been notified. Her alleged kidnapper was arraigned in court on Wednesday, hours before the announcement was made that her body had been found. She disappeared from a Walmart parking lot earlier this month while waiting in her car for a work shuttle to pick her up early in the morning. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Ballot counting could begin today at 2 Amazon facilities, one in New York City, the other in Alabama, on whether workers want to unionize. This is ABC News.
On our first date, we had